Time for another DIY Network Extra Yardage Quick Tip.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube?
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission.
In 1966, Star Trek was introduced on CBS Network. The show was slow to get an audience because it was considered too futuristic and too geeky. Over time, it eventually gained footing, and we all know the rest of the story. In the show, Captain Kirk communicated with his crew and the Enterprise using a Starfleet communicator. That would be the inspiration for the flip phone we saw in the early 2000s. The tricorder was used on the show to do portable computing and analyzing, and the actual onboard computer would appear as a blue box with a lot of lights and sound kind of like a typewriter on steroids. This was to be the 23rd century? In the 1990s, Star Trek The Next Generation would be aired on Fox and show us what the 24th century might look like. The communicator became a piece of jewelry, and the tricorder was all but replaced with the pad. Finally, the most recent Star Trek movies are set in a time before the original was to have taken place, and they now have technology that blows the original shows and mechanical clickety-clackety of the computer out of the water with transparent screens and state-of-the-art technology. None too far-fetched by today's standards. Almost 50 years has passed since Captain Kirk went where no man had gone before. They could not predict the future, so really, how can we predict the future of technology? Will we all have communicators? We already do, and then some. Today's smartphones are faster and more powerful than the communicator and the tricorder combined. Technology is moving so quickly. And maybe it will be us that will go where no one has gone before. I can't wait. We are surrounded by technology. Computers, tablets, iPods, iPads, and smartphones are as common today as pencils and paper were for the past 100 years. Today, the average American has more computing power in their pocket than the entire computer system held during the NASA Apollo missions. Many would assume that the United States is at the forefront of technology and its use, but other areas like Asia and Europe have embraced technology at a much more aggressive rate. Technology is everywhere, but what do you do with all this technology? YouTube, online classes, Instagram, Facebook, blogs, personal web pages are everywhere, and the volume of these tools can be overwhelming. Where does all this information come from, and where does it end up? We must ask ourselves some important questions regarding technology. What are the educational opportunities and challenges arising from these developments? How do these problems relate to activities across different areas of life, not only in formal education institutions per se, but also in informal contexts and activities of learning? Is it possible that people every day use technology for fixing their cars, learning how to better use technology, and countless other areas? Has YouTube become a go-to place for do-it-yourself learning? We have dedicated this YouTube channel for learning, regardless if it's formal or informal. And finally, where do you think these technological and social trends are taking the field of education? We will address each of those questions in a unique video.